Sparkling wine on a summer's morning, there's no better. It's got bubbles in it. It's carbon dioxide. It pressurizes it. It's like beer in that regard. And there are many ways to make it. The traditional method is a fermentation that completes inside the bottle. As wine progresses from high sugar in solution to high alcohol in solution, the sugar changes from sugar to alcohol. And it does this with a byproduct of carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide is pressure. So it will build up in the bottle if you bottle the wine and then fermentation occurs inside of that bottle. In Champagne, France, what they did was they bottled their wine thinking it had completed fermenting in the fall, and it actually hadn't. What happened was in the spring the bottles warmed back up and they started fermenting again. They started exploding. So that's how sparkling wine was discovered as a method of making it. They did this on purpose then, moving forward. They would bottle the wine before it had finished fermenting, and it would continue to ferment and finish in the bottle. This would add carbon dioxide and something else called lees. Lees are dead yeast cells, other particulates that have settled out. They wind up at the bottom of the bottle, and they will settle out because they are solids. So, the Champagne region in France can call their wine Champagne if it's made there. Grapes are grown there, it is made there, and it sits on the lees, meaning the lees are inside of the bottle for at least 18 months. At that point, they move the lees towards the front of the bottle. So, wine is fermenting as the sugar changes to alcohol and the lees develop, which start to settle out. So they wind up down here, and they'll set the bottles on their side after they have been bottled. They sit there for 18 months, or however long you want, because the longer you let them sit, the more the yeast cells will break down by autolysis, and you'll get a toasty flavor in your wine. I don't want too much in my Riesling, so I'm not going to let this happen very long. Plus, I want to drink it because I like doing this stuff. So, set it on a side, it settles out, and then they will do what's called riddling it, which is they will hold it at an angle and spin the bottle a little bit every day. And so that'll take a month like this, and then a month like this, and after it's spun and shooken around, it's basically got a set of lees here in the bottom, easily get rid of out of it's called disgorging. So this is a regular wine bottle. It's an amber, commonly referred to as a claret, 750 milliliters capacity, and it has a punt on the bottom. It's fairly thin glass. It's not built to withstand pressure, but it is built to be airtight. This is a champagne bottle. It's thicker, it's got thicker glass. It's also 750 milliliters capacity, also punted. It's about twice the weight. It's thicker, and it's built to withstand up to 6 bars of pressure. That's 6 atmospheres. We're gonna be using this bottle for this. So this is a hydrometer. It's a weighted glass piece, certain amount of weight, and it's got a stick up the top that has a range on it in numbers. Now the higher it floats, the more solids are in the solution. The lower it floats, the less solids. So solids in this case are sugars. This is a sugar hydrometer. They make other ones that measure different levels of different things, but this one is for sugar. You want to start somewhere in this red band. It's about 1100. They say 1.100 is pronounced 1100. 1.005 is 1005, for example. So this one goes from 1100 to 1130, and that's where it says you want your alcohol to start within the wine. That corresponds to a 11.5% all the way up to a 17% wine. So this one has other levels for beer, actually. The lower yellow band is for beer, and then the purple band, so start with sugar, gradually ferments up to this purple band. That's where you want your wine to finish. Most wines are finished at that level of sugar. A sweeter wine will finish at, for example, in this one, 1020. A drier wine will finish closer to 0. So a specific gravity of water is defined as 1.000 at a certain temperature. Temperature makes a small difference. The difference between 10:05 to 10:05-2. I want to stop at 10:09. That will give me roughly 24 grams per liter of sugar that will ferment and create about 6 bars, atmospheres worth of pressure. This hydrometer is hard to read at the end because this is a finishing hydrometer. The finishing hydrometer goes from 0980 to 1020. So most wines finish at 0.996. A dry wine will finish at 0.996. What we're going to do is we're going to make a dry wine inside the bottle by bottling it up here at 10:09. Flavor, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to rack the wine off of its lees, its current set of lees, which is from only half fermentation, 50% done, and I'm just going to rack them all into a new container where they can continue fermenting until I decide to bottle. We're going to add a small amount of bentonite. This hydrometer is rating about 1025. 1025. So here's the lees I'm talking about. I don't want to drink that. This is great for fertilizer though. Dump it in your garden. A good quality control system is very important for any successful winery. See all that gunk we're sucking up? We don't want to suck that up. Oh, the skin. So it looks like we have a success here. We did get cold enough last night to kill lots of fruit flies. This is actually enjoyable to be out here now. Still have some bubbles here. We got one about to go. And while we don't have any bubble out the top of this airlock, I do see some bubbles down inside here. So the fermentation's still going. Here's an idea what it looks like outside. We got like an inch of snow, maybe half inch of snow. And it did get down to about 30 to maybe 28 degrees last night. Griddling rack. This is some white wine I made earlier. Hi there, today we're bottling the Reisling. It's got 1.005 specific gravity reading, which means it has roughly 20 grams per liter of sugar left inside of it. What we're going to do is we're going to bottle it into a champagne bottle, which is a All right, so let's sparge several bottles.
Alright, let's sparge.
Gosh, that is, what is that reading? 10:06. Yeah, 10:06. So here we are in May, and this is the moment we've been waiting for. The wine has been sitting all winter. It's been riddled, and it's now being stored at a cool temperature below freezing in my wine freezer. We're gonna disgorge it and enjoy it. So here's my wine freezer. I've got a little temperature controller that is set at what is that, 20, and it runs inside to this sensor, and it only activates the freezer when the temperature setting is appropriate. So I don't want to freeze at below 0. Instead, it looks like it's about 32. So I could go a little cooler probably, but the temperature makes a big difference in how much pressure the bottle has. Like you saw in the last couple pictures, that really hot day when the bottles were on the riddling rack and the 8 of them exploded. Well, that's just because it got too hot. So lesson learned, and keep them cooler as much as possible. It looks like I can riddle over the winter, and then as long as they're in the freezer or in the cellar over the summer, then we're okay. So let's disgorge. So a few things we need to disgorge. I like to get them out and ready ahead of time. One, if you're gonna drink it, you need a wine glass. Hose. This is for spraying off the bottles. Once I disgorge them, you'll see why I have this. And a disgorging key. This is a hand one. It has an opener on the far side of the bottle so that when I open it, the cap sprays away. So here's my bottle. It's been stored upside down. You can see inside, I hope you can see on the video. Yep, there's the lees. So there's about 1 inch of lees in there. We want to get rid of those. Is I'm going to hold the bottle like this, and as I tip it up to straight up sideways, I'm going to pop the top, and then I'm going to cover it with my thumb real quickly to keep as much wine as possible, but lose those lees. So it's popped. You can see I got lees all over myself. Got some bubbles on the top. I'm gonna let go slowly. Oh man, right when the bubbles come off, you get a big whiff of that variety. Yeah. So if we were gonna package this up to sell, we would top up the bottle, fill it with more wine, and then put a cork and a cap on it. But since I'm just drinking it, I put these things on them and just pump it up, try to keep the pressure in, and put it back in the freezer upright. All right, well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to drink more sparkling wine.